Almost every personal growth or self-help book that I read talks at one or another point about meditation. It really seems to be the solution for everything. So I think it's worth it to give it a proper try. And in this video, I'm sharing some beginner-friendly tips to meditate and to make it a daily habit. Welcome to my channel. My name is Dolores. I'm currently in training to become a psychological counselor, and I also hold a university degree in education and psychology. And on this channel, I'm sharing practical tips with you that will help you to get more clarity and to live your most authentic life. Now, you probably have tried to meditate before, and chances are that you made some of the mistakes that I'm going to mention, and I think it's worth it to get them out of the way first so that you don't make them anymore in the future. Because meditation seems to be such a simple thing, right? We are just supposed to sit there and think about nothing. But it turns out that this is a very hard task to do. At least for me, it still is, even though I have been meditating for years at this point. So the first mistake when trying to meditate is to judge yourself. As I mentioned, it's not the easiest thing to just sit down and think about nothing. I actually tried it this morning and it was very, very hard for me. And it's also hard for me to not judge myself in those moments because I immediately thought, oh, I'm so bad. I have all of these thoughts. Why am I not able to just sit here and think about nothing and blah, blah, blah. And in this state, it's impossible to meditate because your mind gets filled with very negative thoughts. And it's completely normal for us humans that we are constantly thinking about something. We have to make an effort to empty our brain. And on some days, it's easier than on other days. And I think meditation is, by definition, accepting what is in the current moment. So if it's a little bit hard for you to let go of your thoughts on that day, or if it's hard for you to sit cross-legged or something, then just try to let it go. Just accept where you are and adjust the practice to your needs. Maybe you just meditate for a couple of minutes, or maybe you just observe your thoughts, you sit with your thoughts, or you find another position that is more comfortable for you. Do whatever you need to do to get comfortable with where you are and really accept where you stand in that moment, because judging yourself will not help you at all. Another mistake that I can think of is waiting for a perfect time or a perfect place to meditate. I think having a dedicated space for meditation is beneficial. Of course, it's very nice to have your beautiful meditation space or your meditation pillow, but it is absolutely not necessary to meditate. I personally think meditation is possible everywhere, every time. I mean, you can meditate if you wait in line somewhere, or if you're on your way to work, or I don't know, if you walk around in nature, wherever you find a little bit of quiet time or a little bit of empty time, you can do a super quick meditation. I don't think you even have to close your eyes to do it. You can also just recognize what's around you, just maybe fixate a certain thing that is beautiful, and then just try to look at that thing and think about nothing in particular. I truly believe that this is a great first step to meditation. And even if you can't go too deep into your meditation like this, I still think it's a great start because you get used to focusing on the present moment. And the first mistake is to expect instant results or very deep insights right away. It's very rare that you do only one session of meditation and you get very deep into a meditative state and you have all these insights and this enlightenment or whatever you are supposed to find there. And that's because meditation really is a practice. Our mind is always very busy and we are always concerned with our daily life and more superficial things. So it takes a little bit of time for our brain to adjust to a different state, to get different brain waves so that we can go into this deep meditative state. I would suggest to expect nothing when you just start with meditation. Just sit there, make it a point to do nothing for 5 minutes, and at best to think about nothing. But even if you can just sit for a couple of minutes and do nothing, that is already a great start. Now, let's talk about some actual techniques to make meditation a little bit easier. And my first tip is actually something that I learned in my psychological counselor training. And in one session, we talked about this concept of asking how instead of asking why, to be able to be in this present moment. So when you meditate and you observe your body, your feelings, try to ask how instead of why. Because when you ask why do I feel a certain way, let's say, why do I feel so tired, you will travel immediately to the past. Maybe you will travel to last night where you were unable to sleep because you were thinking about XYZ, and the spiral goes on. You start to think about these things and why you couldn't sleep and all of this stuff, and you are immediately taken away from this present moment. Or let's say you feel anxious. You recognize that you feel a little bit anxious. And when you ask why, you will find that you are probably anxious because of this presentation you have tomorrow at work, and you're already nervous because of it, and blah, 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 and the spiral goes on. But if you ask how, if you stay with this question, how is it, then you stay in the present moment. You will recognize that you will feel anxious. Maybe you will find out that you feel it in your chest or in your throat, and you will stay there. You will stay with your anxious feeling, and you will not ask why it is this way. And when you do that, you have a really good chance to let go of this anxious feeling and to calm your mind, because eventually you will find out that there is nothing to be anxious about in this moment, because you are just sitting there with your own thoughts and there is nothing to be fearful about. So if you really manage to stay with your feeling, it will probably go away. And when you leave your meditation, you will feel a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more relieved. The second technique goes hand in hand with this asking how instead of why, and it is to focus on your body. Your body is such a great tool to get out of your head, and you can do that by just focusing on your breath, for example. Or if you don't like to focus on your breath, you can also just focus on the different parts of your body. You could, for example, make a journey through your body and start with your feet and then travel up your legs, your upper torso, to your hands, and just observe how these parts feel. And again, it's so important that you just ask how your body feels and don't ask why it is this way. Just observe, don't judge, just see how you feel. And if this is not really working for you, or if you don't like to feel into your body, you could also in your imagination, put away your thoughts. And there are some really great pictures to do that. One of my favorites is to take a treasure box and put all your thoughts that you don't need in that moment into this box. And make sure that you really imagine how you close and seal this box so that none of these thoughts can come out while you meditate. Or another beautiful picture is to put your thoughts on a cloud and see this cloud disappear in the sky. Or you could also put them on a boat and see the boat disappear in the horizon. So whatever suits you best, whatever picture you like the most, take it and observe how it will calm your mind instantly. So mastering meditation is one thing, but I think the even more challenging thing is to make meditation a habit, because meditation can only be beneficial if you do it daily, or at least multiple times a week. It's almost like training a muscle. If you only go to the gym one time, you probably won't see any results. But if you do it regularly, over time, you will get stronger and you will see that your muscle grows and you will feel differently. So if you want the benefits of meditation, it is important that you do it regularly. I think probably one of the best tips that I ever read to make a habit stick is habit stacking. And this idea comes from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he's basically saying that if you want to implement a new habit in your life, combine it with a habit that you already do. So let's say, for example, you drink a glass of water every morning. If you want to meditate, then combine meditation with drinking this glass of water. So maybe you start to meditate directly after you drink your water, and then your water glass can become like an anchor for your meditation practice. Or you could also put a sticky note on your fridge where you take out your water with a little reminder to meditate. Just make sure that you find something that you do daily that will remind you of your new habit. And over time, meditation will become as much of a habit as drinking your water in the morning or brushing your teeth. Another way to make meditation a habit that I personally really like is to find an app that you really love and that you really want to use for meditation. I personally use the Chess Yoga app. It's a yoga app, obviously, but she also has some lovely meditations on there. She also only has music. So I can always decide if I want to do a guided meditation, which I think is also very helpful if you just start out, or I can just use music or complete silence to meditate. Because she has also kind of a timer on there, like a bell that will ring after 5 minutes, so that you can meditate in silence and you know when 5 minutes are over. I think this is also very great if you just want to sit in silence. And I keep this app on the front page of my phone, so basically whenever I look at my phone, I am reminded to meditate. And I have to say, it took me some time to find the right app for me personally, because there are a lot of great meditation apps out there, but I really wanted to find a style of meditation and a voice that suits me. So yeah, for me personally, the Chess Yoga app is my favorite at the moment. It's the one app that I don't know, I have used it for maybe 1.5 years at this point, and I almost open it daily to meditate or to do yoga. So I will link you the app in the description box below if you're interested. I'm not sponsored at all. This is just my recommendation. It's just my favorite at the moment. So if you're interested, have a look at it. So my last tip to make meditation a habit is to find a dedicated space for your meditation practice. And as I said in the beginning, I don't think it's necessary to have a dedicated space for meditation, but I do think it can be helpful to remind you to meditate and to make it a habit that sticks. Because when you have a place in your home that is only for meditation, you will see it every day and you will be reminded automatically every day. And if you make it beautiful, if you make it cozy, chances are that you want to go there and that you are inspired to meditate. And I mean, this can be super simple. You don't need a meditation pillow or certain prompts or something. It can just be a rock or a certain chair that is very comfortable. It can be a corner on your couch or on your bed. Just make sure that you go to the same place every time so that this place really becomes your meditation place. And make sure that it is a place that you want to go and that you feel comfortable and safe in. I also think it's not even necessary that it is a complete quiet place. If you have headphones with noise cancelling, you can always use them to make your space a little bit more quiet. And if you don't have them, it's fine too, because it doesn't have to be completely silent to be able to meditate. You can sit there and embrace the noise around you. You can just sit there and listen to what you hear. And Don't think about other things. Don't think about what's going on in your life. Just listen to what you hear, listen to your surroundings, and sit with it. And this is also practicing meditation because you are in the moment and you are not so much concerned about your own thoughts. I think the point of meditation really is to be present in the moment and to observe what is going on. So yeah, I hope these ideas were helpful to you. I hope you feel a little bit more inspired to meditate. And if you have some other tips and ideas on how to meditate, please let us know in the comments. I would love to read your thoughts and your ideas. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.